one and all. Thank you so much for joining us today's webinar. My name is Chaya Iyer, Deputy Director, Teachers Training Cell. On behalf of Parul University, I welcome you all. Today, we are presenting a wonderful topic that is creating and engaging asynchronous online learning. And the speaker is none other than Mr. Ketan Gandhi. If you have any question during the presentation, please send them to us through Facebook. I'll bring them up during the presentation. Our guest of today's webinar, Mr. Ketan Gandhi, is the CEO of kgguruji.com. He is a chartered engineer registered with Engineering Council UK. He provides corporate training and advisory services to corporations in 10 countries, including USA, Europe, Asia, and Middle East region. He participated in Harvard Business School's Executive Education Program. He conducts management research, coaching executives for leadership roles in high growth, diverse industrial sector, including Fortune 500 companies. He wrote a book on business plan writing for Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, Government of India. Ketan sir, I welcome you on behalf of Parul University. We are really happy to have you on this platform.
Thank you.
So there is no denying the fact that the world is increasingly moving online and it's becoming a way of life for the foreseeable future. And the field of education is no different. I'm sure you will be agreeing to that. The educators of Parul University are always on their toes to help the students discover their unique abilities to become aware of their place in a globalized world. Each of our students is provided with the opportunity to explore their dreams. So from the very beginning of this pandemic situation, all the teachers took initiative to take online classes, organize webinar, and so on. Ketan sir, I just wanted to know from you how this lockdown situation impact other education institutions and the stakeholders. Please share.
Okay. Yes. So once again, good afternoon to all of you. It's my pleasure to be part of this wonderful initiative of this webinar series. Coming to the questions that you asked me, see, the first impact of this lockdown was that the physical classroom activity of conducting classes stopped completely. And also the examination, the method of examination, the mode of examination had to be also changed. It has happened in the month of March. So March to July were the months where the normal examination and evaluation happens. So the biggest change, force change, you can say, due to external factors, was stopping of physical activities. Now,
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and this opened up new challenges and opportunities.
Yes, you are absolutely right that definitely when the challenges come and it brings in lots of new opportunities for all of us. And at Teachers Training Cell, we train the educators for holistic, integrated, engaging, and enjoyable online learning classes. But when we talk about internet connectivity or other technical issues, definitely it has impacted, it has a big impact on the deliveries. So is there any way out to cope up with such issues? Do you have any such idea? Please share.
Yes, I think first we need to look at how the Educational Institute and all the stakeholders like faculty members, management team, students, how everybody tried to cope with the situation. One way could have been that a completely stoppage of all the activities and wait for Educational Institute the session to begin, after a few months. But I think Educational Institute across the globe reacted very well to this current to the crisis which happened in the month of March, and there were many achievements. I think that educational institute achieved, that the classes were conducted as per the timetable, students attended the classes, so the attendance of the students also happened, and it allowed teachers to conduct the sessions and also to cover the large number of students because it was a online classes.
Yes.
And technology enabled actually the classes to continue. So these were
Hmm.
the achievements we can say that educational institutes and all the stakeholders achieved.
Hmm.
But these, I mean, it opened up many more challenges. The challenges were, as you rightly mentioned, internet connectivity. But
Yes.
there were many challenges like basic access to technology, because every
Exactly.
house, every student, all did not have a laptop or a computer or a smartphone.
Yeah, yeah.
Then internet connectivity was a big issue.
Hmm.
The time lag due to network issues. There were a lot of stress on the students because students had to, spend whole day in front
Hmm.
of the screen of mobile or
You're absolutely
laptop.
right. Yes,
It
yes. That's a
also
big issue.
created a huge challenge for the faculty members
Hmm.
because suddenly the cognitive load on the faculty members increased substantially. And I mean, normally people feel that it's too easy to conduct the sessions. Like at one end, our teacher connects with the microphone and speaks, and other end students listen. But that's not the only thing happen when we conduct the sessions, learning sessions. And also, there were no eye contacts between faculty and students. So actually, faculty members had no idea whether students are able to follow the
Yes.
instructions, whether they've understood the topics. So this opened up not only the technological challenges, but this opened up many other challenges. And all faculty members and students need to, work on these areas as well.
Hmm. Yes, right, sir. Apart from these challenges, sorry, now involving students, especially the silent student in online session, is a big challenge. And just help me out. How can the teachers engage student throughout the session, or how to deal with the low engagement in online classes?
Okay, yeah. So this is a very, very, very important question because student engagement, even in the physical classroom,
Yeah.
used to be a very big challenge, even before the month of March. And many faculty members reported that the students are not engaged. Even many students also reported that they are not fully engaged. They are not finding it very interesting. So engaging students, whether it's a physical classroom or through online classroom, the challenge remains the same. So it's not about because of the online classroom, the engagement level has gone down. Uh, the engagement level can only increase if faculty members engages the students. Now, students can only be engaged if the teaching methodology, which is still dominated by a theory-based, content-based, teacher-centered teaching, unless that approach is changed towards a problem-based, participants-based, and the skill improvement-based methodology, it will be very difficult for any faculty members to engage students. I mean, whether it is a physical classroom or whether it is an online classroom. So I think the approach of the faculty members needs to be to change the methodology and increase the experiential learning methodology level to about 70-80%. And the content-based theory classes or theory teaching can be reduced from 80-90% to 10-20%, depending on the requirement of the subject. So if that is done, then probably even through online classes or online sessions, you can very well engage participants.
Yeah, for that purpose, we are using Jamboard. We are sharing the Jamboards with the students, and they are using, the teachers are using classroom screen and various other mode to interact with the student. But when we talk about teaching a subject like mathematics or other theory subject, it becomes very difficult on online classes. Even I've seen teachers keeping the camera on, and they start writing on the board. And many teachers have purchased the graphic pad for doing the sums and drawing the diagram. They have all taken initiative. So what do you think? What could be, what tips would you like to suggest to the teacher for dealing with such subjects?
See, if you if you look at any subject, there is always a fun way of bringing bringing fun way in the classroom, whether it is a physical classroom or an online classroom. So this require a very different thinking to develop the teaching aid or to develop exercises. Whether it is a mathematics, whether it is a operation research, whether it is a statistics, whether it is a leadership, you take any subject, there can be different ways of engaging students in the learning process and also bringing the fun element in the classroom. It could be with the physical objects, it could be with the group exercises, it could be with more question answer mode of conducting the session. It could be through simulation. It could be through using the videos. So there are many different ways, and I mean, not only a faculty member can bring a change, but a structured approach by the institute on a long-term basis on developing a teaching aid using the three-dimensional graphics and developing a customized video for this kind of subject, using games in the classroom or giving the assignments to the students. You can make any subject very, very interesting, whether it is a law, whether it is a statistics, organizational behavior, any subject. Because if you can teach in a physical classroom with a high engagement, you should be able to do it even online classroom, because just by changing the mode from physical to online does not change the level of engagement or the interest. But even in the physical classroom, if these subjects were taught in a typical theory method, it becomes very tough for students to concentrate on a theory topic for many more hours, and especially when the technical terms or mathematical terms or management terms are being used very frequently. And if students have no idea about those terminologies, they immediately disconnect from the lecture or from the classes which are going on. So it is very, very important for faculty members to design the customized teaching aid, prepare small experiments. I mean, we have to consider the way we teach science through laboratory and practice. Similarly, in a management program, it should be a leadership laboratory. Every class, every session is a leadership laboratory. And we have to consider that way, and we have to design then teaching aid and also the session plan in such a way that even a higher level of Bloom taxonomy, that we are able to bring it into a classroom. So the classroom does not become a basic level of Bloom taxonomy of knowledge or maybe a comprehension, but actually we provide an opportunity to create a solution or to evaluate the solutions. So if we can do that, then even a theory topics also can be taught in a very, very interesting way.
Yes, sir. Ketan sir, absolutely right. And we also try to create a wow factor every time, because you know that today's generation student, they very soon they get bored with whatever is going on. When online class started, they were so much happy and they were joining it with full enthusiasm. And later on, now gradually their number of the absenteeism has increased and all. And again, we made lots of rules, and now the teachers have started using riddles at the beginning of the session, and they ask some puzzles and games are played. So obviously, I also feel that student engagement is an ongoing concern for the educators. Now, let's come to our topic about this asynchronous learning. So what do you mean by this asynchronous learning?
See, we have to first be very clear on. There are two terminologies. One is a synchronous learning, and one is a asynchronous learning methodology. There are also two other terminologies which we have to associate. and that is a physical classroom and e-learning method. Now we can do a combination that we have a physical classroom and we have synchronous learning. We have asynchronous learning and we have physical classroom. Similarly, synchronous learning and e-learning mode. So with this, we have four possible combinations. So if you look at what has happened over last 3-4 months, which was an immediate reaction by all the stakeholders, it was like conducting the sessions which were earlier physical, converted into an online mode. So if you look at the classes, the way they used to be conducted in a physical form, the online version is not much different than the physical classroom which used to be conducted before month of March. That means what we have done, instead of adopting a asynchronous learning methodology, we had gone with the synchronous learning methodology and e-learning version. So we continued with the synchronous learning methodology and we just changed the mode instead of physical classroom to e-learning platform. And that is the reason all the disadvantages of synchronous learning are still continuing, because we are not able to address the challenges that the faculty members were facing when they were actually in the physical classroom.
Exactly.
I mean, the low or very low engagement level. Students are not happy. Faculty will have to use attendance as a rule to bring everyone
Exactly.
into a class.
Yes.
Faculty will have to bring lot of disciplinary, take lot of disciplinary action. You have to ask all the students to submit a mobile phone, otherwise they will, look in the mobile phone quite frequently, even during the class. They are not they are not paying attention to what teachers or professors are saying. So these problems remain even today, because the only method, instead of physical, we have gone to online. But the mode is still continuing. It's still theory based, content based, and exam oriented. So, there could be exceptions. There could be different faculty members would be blending the
Exactly.
experiential learning method. But I'm just talking in general that the most of the faculty members in many of the institutes where I conduct the sessions used to be still theory-based classes, because there's a compulsion, there's a guideline from university that you have to complete the syllabus. And the students also expect that if the faculty has, taught us in the class and faculty shares their, teaching notes, and if we prepare those in the exams, we take a notes in the class, then we have a good grades. So, and because of this, if you look at the employability skill was a major issue in the past. All the industry research reports like CII report, FICCI's report, everyone indicated that each report indicated that employability skills is very, very low. So
Exactly.
why employability skills were very, very low even from the good institute? I mean, your institute can be an exception, but not all institute has a luxury and has adopted the different approach for holistic learning. But the reason of synchronous learning and the outcome of synchronous learning, where we were not able to address the employability skills, and the retention of knowledge on the subject, on the theory subject, was also not too long. That's why when students approach, when they appear for an interview, and even the basic questions are asked about the subjects which they might have studied in semester 1 or semester 2, they may not be able to recollect what, even if the degree certificate indicates that they are in distinction, or maybe they are above 70 percentage in the exam or grades. So the root problem, if we look at, is not because of online or a physical classroom, is because of the more focus on synchronous learning. There is a fixed timetable and all the students will have to appear in the class as per those timetables. Learning only happened during the classroom, and then there will be internal exam and the external exam, and there were very few assignments during the semester. So unless this synchronous mode of learning is not changed, I'm not saying that you can overnight change 100% from asynchronous to asynchronous, because no method that way is 100% advantageous. Every method has advantages and disadvantages. So
Exactly.
synchronous method has its own advantages, synchronous method has its own disadvantages. Similarly, it's true for asynchronous learning. So why this current time is the best time to for the institute and the faculty members to move towards asynchronous learning, or at least to blend asynchronous learning anywhere between 40 to 70% depending on the subject. Because this is the best time. You are anyway on the online mode, right? So all the
Yeah.
students are at their home, and the faculty members also might be conducting sessions from their home because there might be a lot of restrictions or local lockdowns. So this is the best opportunity that you are already in a different geographies. So instead of continuing the synchronous methodology where there are 6 lectures and each lectures are of 1 hour duration. So for students, it's 6 continuous hours, maybe a few breaks. There's a screen time. No student can handle this burden. It's too difficult, and the quality of learning and the pace of learning and the efficiency goes down, because anyway students attention span has been reducing generation by generation, decades by decades. So when the attention span has gone and reduced to less than 20 minutes now, or maybe less than 10 minutes, and we expect students to keep attention for more than 6 hours in a day for on a very technical or a management or the subjects where a lot of jargons are also used, and they are into their geography, into their comfort zone, and the video camera is switched off. You faculty member has no idea and no clue what is going on, and whether students are able to pay any attention in the class, or whether they have understood the subject or topic or not. So this is the best time to actually reduce the screen time and to increase the asynchronous mode of learning and blend it well with the synchronous learning, and maybe in few years time have introduce more asynchronous learning and very few synchronous learning sessions. If this can be done, then a lot of changes we can bring, and this change will also increase the engagement level of the students, because here students are not just burdened to look at the screen. In asynchronous learning, with blending with the experiential learning methodologies, you are actually dividing the entire learning, not only just when faculty members are speaking and students are listening or students are raising questions. You are actually bringing so many methodologies like teamwork, like projects, small projects, group activity, like role play games, like case studies, case analysis, like simulation. So all this, if you blend it, your actual screen time will substantially go down, maybe 50% or less than 50%. So let me share my experience. I conduct sessions, and none of my sessions have a screen time more than 20 minutes, because 20 minutes is the enough time for anybody to pay attention to the screen. So you need to give time to for reflection. After 20 minutes, you need to give a time for reflection, and you need to give time for some exercises for engaging students. So to bring their creativity into our learning process, to to make them co-creator of the learning experience. And when we are talking about adult education, if the adult education is not experiential, if adult education is, and I'm sure in university, undergraduate or postgraduate, all are above 18 years of age. That means we are dealing with
Yes.
adults. And if it is not experiential, if it is not problem based, if the students will not feel that this learning is their immediate need, if you don't involve them in the learning experience, how any adult would be engaged, whether it's 18 years of age or 40 years of age? It's impossible to engage adults in a learning process unless the methodology is changes from a content-centered and teacher-centered to participant-centered in the experiential and problem-based education. Look at what new education policy, page number 4, para number 4, actually demands that educational institutes and all the stakeholders need to focus on problem-based, discovery-based education, where students' creative thinking skills will be developed, and they are looking for solutions, developing solutions rather than just learning theory and just appearing for exam. So this is the best time to move from asynchronous synchronous mode to asynchronous mode. Give students a flexibility. Instead of fixed time schedule, you can give them a advance. You can share the material and the content in advance, and let them go through it. And then in 20 minutes or 30 minutes of session instead of 1 hour session, you can discuss, you can clarify the doubts, difficulties can be addressed. You can ask question answer to find out whether students have understood or not. You can discuss key topic where students are participating in the discussion rather than just faculty members is speaking on the screen. So this is the change that we have to bring, not just from physical to online, but whether we are in a physical, because within few months, once we have a vaccine, once we go back to the previous normal instead of new normal, then we might have a tendency, we might fall back onto our original the delivery or original method of conducting sessions. We have to be careful because uh, if we do that again, then our problem of employability skills or engagement of students will continue the way it used to be in the past. So even if we go back to previous normal, we must look at bringing the experiential learning in the classroom. The Canada or UK or there are many other countries. If you look at their delivery and the conducting the sessions, even in school, fifth standard onwards, there is a lot of experiential learning methodologies that the faculty members will have to adopt. So there, all the classes are collaborative classes where the faculty member's role is changing from a teacher, traditional teacher, to a facilitator, to a coach, to a person who helps to discover the learning, to a discussion leader, to a mentor, and less on the teaching part, but more on making sure that the participants, the students are not only learning or gaining knowledge, but they are sharpening and developing lot many skills which they will be able to use in the real life, in the business or in the job or in a profession, and they will have a change of attitude when they join program, and when they go out they are a completely transformed individual. And that's what I think is the focus area for any educational institute, is that any person who joins our program, they should be feeling a transformation completely. Their personality needs to transform, not just the etiquettes, but also knowledge, skills, attitude, behavior. Everything needs to change, and this can only happen if the methodology is changed from traditional theory-based, content-based, teacher-centered to participant-centered. So I would, answering your question, what should be done is, of course, right now, asynchronous mode we have to adopt. Also, we have to adopt e-learning, but we need to make sure that we are also blending experiential learning methodology, which is a participant-centered methodology, and making sure that each and every participants are fully engaged in the learning process. Let me also tell you why we have to do it. I mean, there is no choice. We have to do it because not all students come with the same learning style. Every students are unique, and they might have a different learning style. So when you are into physical classroom, and when you are your focus is more on a theory topic, maybe part of the class, maybe few percentage of students would love that kind of classes because they are able to listen and they are able to learn a lot of things. But And in those classes, we are not really helping students who learn by doing, who love to do experiential learning methodologies. So they miserably fail. There are many students who read and then learn. So again, there also we might lose out. So keeping different learning style of the students in mind, we have to make sure that we bring experiential learning methodology. And experiential learning techniques like case study and simulation and many other methods actually bring all different learning style of students into the engagement, because in experiential learning methodology you also have to read, you also have to write, you also have to raise questions, you
Yes.
also have to speak in the class, you also have to prepare, you also have to analyze, you have to do many things. So whatever may be your learning style as a student, you will be able to actually contribute if there is a experiential learning methodologies. So blend it, asynchronous learning, online, with experiential learning methodologies, you will have a fantastic outcome. And all the challenges that as a faculty member you might have faced in past 4 or 5 months, or also before that, you will be able to see that those challenges will not be there, and your session will be fantastic from the outcome point of view. Because ultimately, I mean, can we imagine that at one side we have to develop session keeping students' learning outcome in mind, and when we conduct the sessions or when we complete the semester, those learning outcomes are not fully achieved. If I mean, that's not the right way as far as quality management aspect is concerned. So focus on asynchronous learning, focus on experiential learning, and focus on e-learning right now. But imagine that after a few months we will be again going back to new normal. Even then, we should not stop our asynchronous learning and our online learning, because there are a lot many advantages these online technologies have been offering or are offering, and we must use and blend it well with the physical classroom, with the synchronous learning. So the ratio you can change. You can change from 80-20, 70-30, 60-40. That 60% is asynchronous and 40% is synchronous. You can change. E-learning would be 30% and 70% would be physical classroom. Depending on how the future pans out. But unless we blend all this, it will be the current experience, and the number of research papers are also published in last 3 4 months, that neither students are fully happy, neither teachers are happy. Of course, the university syllabus have been completed, evaluations have been completed. But if you really ask them that are you really happy internally, many of the students are really not happy. Not their fault. Faculties are not happy, not faculty's fault. It's the way that we have just changed from a physical classroom to online, but we just continued with the synchronous learning. So all the disadvantages of synchronous learning also continued. And all the disadvantages of not having physical classes have also been added. So the complexities have actually increased. And we can only come out from this situation if we blend asynchronous learning with experiential learning, with e-learning at this moment.
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. And if the teachers make the class enjoyable, definitely the teachers and the student both will be learning and both will be enjoying the session, whether it is for 1 hour or for more than 1 hour, isn't it? So, just I wanted to know why adoption of this asynchronous learning is the best opportunity for all the stakeholders of education sector to bring the required changes for a better future.
Yeah, because you see, if just duplicating what as a faculty members, what faculty members used to do before month of March in the physical classroom, just by duplicating it on online, if that would have solved all the problems, then we would not have the issue that what we are facing, and probably nobody would have in future would ask for a physical classroom, because if your all objectives are you are able to achieve through online classroom, then why you would need a lot of physical classroom and the physical sessions? That means that the current version of synchronous learning and with a blend of e-learning is not working the way maybe everyone would have thought. And especially if you look at the cost consideration, the moment you go to e-learning mode, the cost of education has to go down. And not all educational institutes are able to really bring down the cost of education for students. So
Yes.
obviously, as a customer, students and parents are just looking at that because the only one benchmark they have for comparison is the previous classroom, physical classroom versus e-learning. So in physical classroom, at least there used to be a social interaction. There used to be a one-on-one interaction, students and teachers interaction during the campus, and maybe there were a lot of opportunities for eye-to-eye contact, feedback, which all are missing right now. So the students and parents have started thinking that, I mean, what are the benefits of e-learning right now? Because we continue with just synchronous mode in e-learning, and that's the reason that we have to really, this is the right time because we are forced to adopt this technology. Now, since we are forced to adopt this technology, I mean, these technologies were available for last 5 years. I've been using WebEx, our business meeting. Of course, at that time, video was not available, but at least through the sound, through the conversation, through the teleconference, we used to do conduct a lot of meetings. I mean, these technologies were available, but look at how many educational institutes really adopted these technologies. That means this adoption of online learning, e-learning was a forced one. But again, here we are not truly in the online learning mode unless we share our recorded content to the students, recorded lectures to the students,
Yes.
unless we share the reading material to the students in advance, and use this interaction, use the class, which is an online class nowadays, use it for creating that experiential learning experience. Unless we do that, we really will not be able to achieve the desired objectives. So this is the best time because here there is a threat of infection, and government is rightly taking steps not to spread the infection. And students have adopted technology. Even now, most of the teachers have also adopted the technology. And last 3 4 months used to be a very good experimentation. So now everyone has reached to that maturity level that what should be the right combination of teaching methodology on methodology of delivery, and the mode of learning. And that is the reason that we, all the stakeholders together, we can now come up with a fine formula which may be geography specific, which may be institute or university specific, which may be depending on whether the participants are coming from the same background, same social background, cultural background, or they have a huge diversity. So depending on that, the institute to institute they can come up with their best model, which will work to make sure that we address the employability gap issue, we address the issue of conducting classes, and we minimize the technology use of technology which has to happen simultaneously because not everyone has a 5 GB or 10 GB per day data plan. And having a 6 hours of online session using video and audio might easily take 4 or 5 GBs every day. So just by reducing the screen time, face-to-face time, and increasing learning through experiential learning, through activities, we can do wonders. I'm telling you, I've been using asynchronous learning and also experiential learning for many years now, and we can create wonders. And students will, and you will not need attendance rule to make sure that students are attending the classes, because they will feel that if I will not attend this class, I will miss a lot of learning. So if we can create that level of pool to bring students into the classroom, you will see a very different energy level on this from the students, and the learning experience will completely change. So make sure that you combine asynchronous learning, you combine e-learning, and you combine experiential learning methodology.
Yes, sir. You are saying the truth, and whatever the tips you are giving, definitely it's not just going to help in the online mode. Even after when the this particular pandemic situation will get over, and this will be beneficial even in person classes. What I believe. Now, definitely the teachers are always in the beginning. We started with online session, and then gradually the teachers adopted new technologies, new techniques for new strategies for teaching, and there is a good improvement in the online session. Definitely, it is there. Now, you talked about that this asynchronous learning is going to be helpful in achieving the target of new education policy 2020 objective. So, can you just brief about, give some sort of information about how it is going to help in fulfilling the objective of this new education policy?
Yeah. Okay. So uh, look at what new education policy is emphasizing. New education policy is emphasizing problem-based education. New
Yes.
education policy is emphasizing on critical thinking and the skills, other skills that all the students should have. New education policy is also thinking about employability skills, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Now, how this will happen by just conducting a synchronous classes? You know, you may have a portion of in a synchronous way, but learning, as we all know, learning does not happen only in the classroom. Learning is a lifelong. Learning happens everywhere. I mean, every discussion, every interaction with somebody, every real life experience is actually a learning.
Yes.
So why we assume that only with the physical classroom, or why only in the education institute the learning happens? So which way asynchronous learning will help? Asynchronous learning will help in giving the flexibility to the participants or students that they can learn at their pace, at their time. You know, and this flexibility is very, very important because many of the students might be working executives. They might have to, work to fund their education. So if they are working in a full-time job and still they want to learn and join the best educational institute, right now it's not possible because the timings are the same, whether it is a job or whether it is the education timing. So they have no option but to adopt to the distance learning mode or maybe open university, and which may not be the best way for them. So asynchronous learning, by adopting asynchronous learning, what we are doing is we are informing students that look, learning does not mean that you just when you come to the campus and when you attend the class and when you go to library only at that time learning happens. So learning is, by 24 by 7, depending on the flexibility and depending on the time that you see the best time, and you should engage yourself into learning. So once you trust the adults, once you tell them that this is the way it has to be done, and once you are informing well in advance a timeline about assignment submission or maybe a project submission, it should be enough. And of course you have few online sessions to clarify the doubts or issues, or maybe conducting a theory session if the subject demands that way. So you have a blend of asynchronous learning and synchronous learning. You are actually involving students in the learning process. You are engaging them into more going into the depth of the subject matter, and not only just understanding the topic, but also application of the topic. Once they apply, then only they'll be able to think about the problems in the industry, and the problem based education can only come when they are confronting a problem. Now, right now, with the current design of the semesters and academics, they only confront the industry problem probably when they join summer internship or a winter internship, or when they start working in the industry. Now, it's too late for them to confront the problem and to learn from the problems. So it's better that we are able to share problems to the students when they are at the educational institute. And there are various ways we can share problems. We can make them to feel like a protagonist of the problem-based situation in the industry and think and force them to think that okay, if you are a protagonist, which way you would think, which way you would solve this problem. And if they do it every day, I mean, they will be very different person after 3 years. Why the top rank 100 global business schools differ from the other business schools? You look at the syllabus is the same, topics are the same, subjects probably are the same, uh, everything is same. But the way the students are engaged, the way the teaching methodology, I think, which is in the control of the faculty member. I mean, you don't need to, change the education policy to adopt the right teaching methodology. It is broadly in the prerogative of the faculty members. So something which you can do it, which you can change overnight, which you can bring it into the classroom, and you see the very different learnings are happening, and students are behaving like industry executives when they are at the campus. So that way, asynchronous learning will help us. Of course, asynchronous blended with the experiential learning will help us to achieve the learning objectives or learning outcome which are set in the new education policy. Because this is the only way we can emphasize more on students' participation and the enhancement of skills.
Every time we see the changes and new policies are coming up in education system, but if you look at the Indian scenario particularly, definitely we are more concentrated towards the cognitive part of learning. And when we talk about this asynchronous learning, don't you think that if suppose, because the Indian parents mentality and even the students mentality is such that maybe you are giving lots of activities, lots of projects and all, but unless and until you take out the book, make them learn one by one line, or just writing and solving each and every sum, they don't get the satisfaction. So how to cope up with that?
Yes. Yeah, so this is a very similar example. Let me give you a similar example that if a person is admitted into a hospital, whether the person is capable to evaluate whether the surgeon's services and everything is up to the excellence or not, is up to the mark or not, and whatever is the fees that the particular hospital or surgeon is charging is justified or not. So similarly, the students or parents will not have a knowledge about how to evaluate faculty members, how to evaluate institute, how to evaluate learning outcome. That is the reason that probably the induction program should be designed in such a way that where you explain these concepts, you make them aware about the different methodologies. You highlight the advantages and disadvantages of all methodologies. It's not that the experiential learning methodology is the only methodology which is the best. But look, in the higher education, when we are looking at a problem-based education, when we are looking at participant-centered method, yes, that is the best methodology. But again, as a faculty member, you can blend with your, depending on the subject requirement, you can blend with the theory, you can blend with many other different methodologies.
Exactly.
So, unless the students and parents are on board, unless you explain them the benefits, advantages, disadvantages, unless they understand the reasons behind it, it will be very difficult for them to evaluate or to adopt. So I think the induction program should be designed in such a way that you explain the whole process. You explain what is expected from students. You expect what student must expect from the faculty members rather than just the theory classes and PowerPoint slides. They should be more asking questions, and the faculty members' role should be minimum in speaking, but maximum in asking to students. So it's a completely different thinking. It's a completely different way of conducting classes.
Exactly.
Even faculty members needs to be, trained, and they need to be obtaining certification on these methodologies to make sure that they are fully competent in adopting these methodologies and blending it right with the theory or the content-based methodologies. So
Exactly.
if you
You are
can do
right.
that, then student will appreciate it, they understand it, and they will be happy at the end of the semester. They will not have a regret, they will not have a dissatisfaction that being a very reputed institute, why you did not conducted a theory classes, because you in the initial phase itself you clarify that yes, the theory classes will be need based, but our focus is more on employability skills, our focus is more on the learning methodologies, and we are combining synchronous, asynchronous, physical classroom, e-learning, experiential learning, as well as theory-based, content-based education to make sure that you will have a wonderful learning experience. So if
Hmm.
you have some kind of agreement or a contract at the start of the semester, probably they
Hmm.
will, as they progress in the semester and as they progress in their life, they will only
Exactly.
appreciate that yes, you have done the right thing. So by
Absolutely
just
right.
adopting the current methodology, we
Hmm.
are not actually achieving all the Bloom taxonomy level, and this is one of the major concern that the industry people are are sharing to academics. That please make sure that your all the students are able to create solution, they are able to evaluate, they are able to analyze the problems, whatever may be education, it may be law, management, it may be medical, it may be a science. Everywhere the analysis, problem solving, decision making, evaluation of alternatives, creating a solution, all this will be very, very critical and important because they have to, after education, they have to work in the industry. Many
Hmm.
will think about starting up their own companies. If they are not skillful, how they will start their startup? If they are not skillful, how they will be working in the industry? So
Exactly.
in the interest of students, we have to bring this change, and now education policy is expressly mentioning it, and it's just a matter of time that all the institutes and all the faculty members will have to bring these dimensions into their session plans.
Sir, one of our excellent teacher, Mohsin Dadis, he's from Mechanical Engineering Department, PIT. He wanted to know how this learning system is going to help in developing critical thinking.
Developing in. Okay,
Critical thinking.
critical thinking. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So,
Huh.
I mean, to develop a critical thinking, what you need to share is you need to share the problem, you know,
Hmm.
uh, problem that industry or society or anybody is facing. Let us take example of a sanitation. We are facing a major problem of a sanitation worker are dying because it's an entire sanitation is a manual process at this moment. People will have
Yeah.
to enter into inside of the pits or tanks, and they have to clean. Now, as a mechanical engineering, you can develop a robots, you can develop a technology, you can add a lot of sensors, and the robotic arm can go inside and make sure that the place is safe for any human to enter, or maybe there is a mechanized cleaning of the pit or the underground tank or underground pipeline, sewage line. Now, when you need to, develop these kind of, thinking in the minds of students, you need to share what is the current problem, what is happening, and then you can ask, okay, can you apply your mechanical engineering knowledge, and can you design a robotic arm, or can you design some system by which we are able to solve this sanitation worker death problem? Now, this is where you are bringing critical thinking, you are bringing creativity,
Exactly.
innovation, you are bringing the problem solving, decision making skills, and you are forcing students to think in this way that, okay, let me, as a mechanical engineer, if I have to solve this problem, I mean, what should be done? So this is
Hmm.
the way when you give problem, when you ask students to think about it, when you provide the relevant data and the students work on it, you provide a feedback on it, and that's how the critical thinking skills will develop. And
Hmm.
this has to be done in every day, all the classes, every subject. Some or the other skill improvement has to happen.
Yes, sir. Absolutely right, sir. Now, I would
Any more questions? Yeah, because
just
we
one
should.
question I'll be asking you, sir. That last one. What will be the sustainable and the most, I'll say, the best mode of learning in future?
Yeah, so I think the hybrid learning, hybrid mode will be the future because there is no absolutely absolute one method is the 100% beneficial and there are no disadvantages. There is no such method. So the blend, the hybrid way and the blend would be one is about experiential learning method versus theory based methods. So that is one selection. Then physical classroom versus e-learning platform. That's another choice, another axis you can say. And the third axis would be synchronous asynchronous. So all the faculty members and all the institutes will have to actually recalibrate on the three axis problem and come up with their custom designed way of adopting and mixing these three dimensions. Because for statistics subject, it could be different. For operational research, it could be different. For organization behavior, it could be different. For design thinking subject, it could be a different combination. So depending on this, I think the hybrid way would be a sustainable, would be beneficial, and not one single approach for all the subjects and all the students. I think that will be more sustainable towards achieving our goal of becoming a top one or two economy. If we have to achieve a $15 trillion economy in next 20 years, if we have to overcome all the challenges that what we are facing as a society, there is no other way than bringing students and making them employable and making them not only just a knowledge powerhouse, but also the skills, attitude, behavior, traits, and emotional aspects, emotional intelligence. Unless we are able to achieve all these dimensions through education and through engaging them into the entire process, it will be very difficult to achieve the outcome. See the brilliant students who are here academically brilliant and they are self learners. They anyway, irrespective of whichever maybe the education methodology, they might find a place in corporates. They might find a place working, or they might do their own business. The major success would be when even a not so academically brilliant student is also able to think creatively and able to develop solution, able to find the right match between the individual and the job available, and can excel in their life happily. That would be the important achievement for any educational institute or faculty members. And this can only happen if we blend these three dimensions.
You're absolutely right, sir. Truly, I am enjoying the session, and I wish it should continue for few more hours. So, but we have to close down just now. So it's really great, and my special thanks to you, Ketan sir. And you have taken out your time from your busy schedule to present today's webinar. And today we have discussed crucial issues related to the online classes. And thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Yeah, thank you.
Um, okay.
Still, we have
And
2 minutes if there's anything.
yeah, anybody, if you have any of the
Yeah,
question, you can
any
just
questions anybody has on Facebook, please feel free to ask. Now, now this session is a perfect example of synchronous, not experiential because there was not much opportunity. So it was like a typical session, only few question answer, but otherwise it's more focused on knowledge and comprehension and understanding level. Uh,
yes,
so not everyone might enjoy this session because this is not experiential. I love sessions which are more experiential. So, but the demand for this topic and webinar was such that I had to speak and I had to share my views. So
yes,
would be good if interested faculty members can join certification program on asynchronous learning or maybe a case writing or other programs. In those sessions, we can have more experiential learning also we can do that.
Yeah, surely, sir. And we have certain drawbacks with this webinar. So definitely, we are not able to have that 100% interaction with all the teachers. And शायद
Yes.
उससे ज़्यादा entertaining होता है, and we might have enjoyed more than what we are now. And soon, definitely, if we get an opportunity, definitely I'll be inviting you to our
Sure.
university so that you can meet our teachers, wonderful teachers, and can just you can just give your ideas, and the teachers can also share how brilliantly they are handling their classes. And thank you, sir. Thank you once again to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you
And
all.
thank you, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you
Thanks.
being
Thanks for
here.
your participation. Enjoy.
Thank you once again for joining us today, and we will see you next time.